Welcome to this Masterclass Explainer. Okay, our focus today is super simple. We're going to break down every single crucial aspect of Economics Paper 1. Think of this as distilling the entire syllabus into just the absolute highest yield, most frequently tested concepts from past papers spanning 2011 all the way to 2024. So if you're looking to maximize your understanding and lock in those top marks, you are in the exact right place.
You know, everything in economics is basically a giant system of interconnected links. So today, we'll be flowing through the basic economic problem, markets and microeconomics, government and macroeconomics, global trade, and finally, how to truly master your exam. Let's just dive right in, shall we?
All right, Section 1, the basic economic problem. This is literally the root of all economics. So here's the core issue. As humans, our wants are pretty much infinite, right? We want the newest phone, the coolest car, a massive house, you name it. But the Earth's resources to actually make those things, completely limited. This massive clash creates what we call the basic economic problem, scarcity. Because we literally cannot have it all, we're forced to make choices about how to allocate these scarce resources efficiently.
And this brings us to our first major duality, something you absolutely need to know. We've got free goods versus economic goods. Free goods, like sunlight or the air we breathe, are essentially limitless. Because there's plenty to go around, they have zero opportunity cost. Economic goods, though, those are scarce. Things like manufactured products, clothing, or food, they require real resources to produce, which means producing them actually comes at a cost.
Speaking of cost, this definition is a super high-yield flashcard. I'm telling you, it appears almost every single year. Opportunity cost is the next best alternative foregone when making a choice. It's the direct, unavoidable result of having limited resources. Like, if you choose to spend the next hour studying economics, the opportunity cost is whatever you gave up, maybe playing video games or taking a nap. It is that next best alternative you sacrificed. Honestly, just memorize that exact phrasing. Now, to actually make these economic goods, we rely on 4 factors of production. A really great cheat code to remember them is the acronym CEL: capital, enterprise, land, and labor. You need to know the rewards too. Land, meaning our natural resources, earns rent. Labor, the human effort, earns wages. Capital, which refers to manufactured resources like machinery, earns interest. And finally, enterprise, that's the risk-taking entrepreneur pulling the whole shebang together. Their ultimate reward is profit. But, you know, that really begs a major question. How do consumers and producers actually get together and solve this basic economic problem? How do we decide what to make, how to make it, and who actually gets it at the end of the day? Well, that brings us to Section 2, Markets and Microeconomics. This is where demand, supply, and the price mechanism completely run the show. So as firms operate and start answering those big economic questions, naturally, they want to grow. And as they get bigger, they experience what we call economies of scale. This is another one of those classic 1 to 2 mark definition questions you've got to know. Basically, as a firm's scale of production ramps up, their average cost per unit actually falls. Think of it like a massive wholesale club. Buying in bulk makes everything cheaper per unit. It's a huge competitive advantage. But how exactly do these firms grow? You've got to understand the difference between internal and external growth. Internal, or organic growth, is when a business expands from within, like opening a brand new store location. External growth is a totally different beast. That's when a firm merges with or straight up takes over a competitor. In your exam, you'll often be asked to evaluate these options. You'll need to weigh things like the rapid speed of a takeover against the pretty hefty financial risks involved. Okay, but what happens when the whole free market system basically drops the ball? What if it pumps out way too much pollution or just doesn't provide enough healthcare? That's when we need a referee. Section 3, Government and Macroeconomics. We're zooming out from those individual businesses to look at the entire national picture. When you're sitting in that exam hall, just remember this. Everything the government does boils down to these core macroeconomic aims. They want steady economic growth. They desperately want low and stable inflation. They want low unemployment, meaning people actually have jobs. And they want stability in their balance of payments with the rest of the world. Basically, every single policy they roll out is just a lever they're pulling to try and hit these 4 targets. Let's zoom in on one of those targets really quick: inflation. I cannot stress this enough, this is one of the most repeatedly tested definitions in all of Paper 1. It is a general and sustained increase in the level of prices across an economy. We're not just talking about one specific brand of shoes getting pricier, we mean the whole basket of everyday goods. Taming inflation is a massive priority for governments because high inflation literally destroys your purchasing power.
It's the exact reason your favorite snack suddenly costs twice what it used to. To fight off villains like high inflation or spiked unemployment, the government relies on two totally different tool belts. And spoiler alert, you will constantly be asked to contrast these in your big 6 to 8 mark evaluation questions. First is fiscal policy. This is run by the actual government and involves tweaking taxes and government spending. Then you got monetary policy. This one is usually handled by the central bank, and they're the ones manipulating interest rates to control how much we borrow and spend. You absolutely have to be ready to confidently explain how pulling these two levers shifts the wider economy.
So we've scaled up from the individual to the firm, all the way to the national government. What happens when we zoom out to the highest possible level?
Welcome to the global stage, folks. Section 4, Global Trade.
The big buzzword here is globalization. By definition, it's the increasing integration and interdependence of the world's economies. This massive web of connection is driven heavily by multinational corporations, or MNCs, setting up shop across borders, combined with a huge boom in international trade. Ultimately, it means an economic hiccup in one country can send shockwaves across the entire planet.
But here's the catch. This global trade isn't always a free-for-all. You are practically guaranteed to see a question evaluating this massive debate: free trade versus protectionism. On one hand, should governments just let goods flow freely across borders to score the lowest possible prices for consumers? Or should they step in with protectionist tools? Things like tariffs, which are taxes on imports, or quotas, which put a hard physical limit on the number of goods coming in, all to protect local jobs. Nailing both sides of this argument, pure gold for your final grade.
All right, let's bring it all home. Section 5, Master Your Exam. This is where we take all these links, from opportunity costs to global tariffs, and turn them into actual points on your paper.
To really conquer these concepts, you've got to speak the examiner's language, and that means decoding the command terms in your rubric. If a question asks you to define, keep it simple. Just state the exact meaning. That's an easy 1 to 2 marks. If it says explain, you need to bring 3 things: a point, a cause, and a consequence. That nets you 2 to 4 marks. But the real heavyweights are discuss or evaluate. For those massive 8 to 12 mark questions, you have to deliver a 2-sided, heavily contextualized argument wrapped up with a clear conclusion. Please, whatever you do, do not write a 1-sided essay when the prompt says evaluate. So how do you actually tackle those big evaluation questions without panicking? Just use this exact 4-step chain. Step 1, state your point nice and clearly. Step 2, explain the cause by literally using the word because. Step 3, explain the consequence using phrases like which leads to or therefore. And finally, step 4, evaluate the counterargument and give a balanced conclusion. Sticking to this simple structure proves to the examiner that you truly get the mechanics of the economy. Look, by understanding how every single one of these concepts connects, from the unlimited wants of an individual to the protective tariffs of an entire nation, you are completely equipped to conquer the material in this explainer and absolutely ace your paper. You've got the key terms down, you know the mechanisms, and you have the framework for a winning argument. So I'll leave you with this final thought. If economics is quite literally the science of allocating scarce resources, how efficiently are you going to allocate your remaining study time to master these concepts?